What would happen if there is no order or proper arrangement in the world? Do you think that things would work out just fine? Imagine a car with four wheels and then remove one of its wheels. What would happen? Would it still work or no? Imagine if a country implemented a law or a specific rule, but the people doesn't obey it. Do you think there will be peace? No, because all of this will lead into chaos. And that has something with our lesson for today. Because for today, I'll be discussing into one of the most complex topics in linguistics. Today, I'll be introducing you to phrase structure. So, are you ready to learn? Let's learn.
And hello again, guys. Once again, I am your maestro, I am your sir, I am your teacher. I am Sir Mark. And for today's video, we'll be discussing Introduction to Phrase Structure. Well, phrase structure is perhaps one of the most complex topics in linguistics, but we're here today to discuss it and as well as to dissect it, and so that you'll be able to understand it bit by bit and you'll find it easy to understand. So without further ado, let's begin. So first, let us define what is phrase structure. So phrase structure is the hierarchical arrangement of the constituent words and phrases of a sentence. So basically, what we're referring to is the arrangement of the word in the sentence, or perhaps the function or the order of the words in a sentence. It might seems a little bit confusing, but let us try to look into different perspectives or to different meanings. So according to Merriam-Webster, um, phrase structure is the arrangement of the constituents of a sentence. And for us to understand what is this so-called arrangement or order that I'm talking about, um, we'll be using a specific tree in which it will able us to see the different arrangement, rather the order of the words present in the sentence. So you might be wondering, what kind of tree, sir? Is it the tree that you get to see around you? I think no, because this tree is what we call phrase structure tree. So phrase structure tree, I believe that you've seen this once, but it's just that you don't know that it's exactly a phrase structure tree. Well, phrase structure tree is an explicit graphic representation on how language is structured. So for example, what we have here is an example of a phrase structure tree. So, phrase structure trees represent three aspects of the speaker's syntactic knowledge. Number one is the linear order of the word in the sentence. So, as you can see here inside the box, so that is the linear order of the words in the sentence. So you get to see it around you, or wherever you look, you'll be seeing the linear order of the words in the sentence. And the second one we have is the identification of the syntactic categories of words and group of words. So in this part, it basically allows us to see on how the words functions or what is the function of the specific constituent word in a sentence. So, and in the third one, what we're seeing is the hierarchical structure of the syntactic categories. So as you can see in the box, we can see that the whole sentence is divided into different constituents. So this hierarchical structure allows us to see the different syntactic categories there is in a sentence. So moving forward, we follow a specific rule in phrase structure. So, sir, what is this so-called rules? So those are phrase structure rules. So phrase structure rules is a set of rules that generates a sentence or other syntactic construction from words and phrases and identify its constituent structure. So later on, I'll be introducing you to some of the basic phrase structure rules that we have, but let us define or dive deeper in these rules or so-called phrase structure rules. So phrase structure rules is usually take the following form. So we have here the letter A and the letter B and C. It's not an alphabet. So basically these letters represents constituents. So for example, we have here is constituent A. Constituent A is separated and divided into two subconstituents B and C, as we can see here in the presentation. So usually pre-structure take this sample form. And constituents is a structural piece of a sentence, phrase, or clause. So for example, what we have here is an NP. So NP stands for noun phrase. The noun phrase is an example of a constituent. However, noun phrase is divided into two different subconstituents. Here we have an A and N. The noun phrase is divided into its two subconstituents. So here are some of the phrase structure terms that we'll be using later on in creating phrase structure tree. So I'll give you, you can pause the video to take a screenshot, or perhaps you can write it down on a clean sheet of paper so that you'll be able to understand the following terms that we're using. So I think that you're now done. So let us proceed to the different basic phrase structure rules. We have rules 1 to 4. So without further ado, let's begin. So the phrase structure rules that we have is the sentence. And here we have the letter S, which stands for sentence. And it consists of subject and predicate, or noun phrase, or verb phrase. So, for example, we have here is surely Emmylou Harris sings country music. So that is an example of a sentence. So we're going to create a phrase tree structure on the sentence. So w- the first we have is the sentence itself. And we have here our first constituent, which will be divided into two subconstituents. And there we have the noun phrase and the verb phrase. So under the noun phrase, as we have Emmylou Harris. And under the verb phrase, we have sings country music. But it seems that we're missing something. What is it that we're missing on this phrase structure tree? Of course, the word surely. Surely has a separate constituent because it is considered as a sentence modifier. So there you have it. This is the basic phrase structure of the sentence. So it's your turn to try to create a phrase structure tree. So you can pause the video if you want, and all you have to do is to get a clean sheet of paper so that you'll be able to write down your answer. Based from the given example earlier, I want you to craft your own phrase structure tree. Are you ready? I'll be giving you time to pause the video. And now that it seems that you're done, now let us try to answer. There we have the first constituent, which is the sentence, in which it will be divided into two subconstituents. We have the noun phrase and the verb phrase. Under these constituents, it will be separated into different subconstituents. So the first words we have the boy, which is the noun phrase. While the verb phrase, we have runs in the field. So as basic as that, there we have the first structure rule in phrase structure. So in phrase structure, it is also important that you know what the specific words function in a sentence. So for example, we have the word the boy. What does the word the boy functions in the sentence? Does it functions as an adjective? Does it functions as a verb? Does it function as a noun? So it is important that you know what is the function of that specific word in the sentence so that you'll be able to create you'll be able to create an well arranged phrase structure tree. So what we have here is the second phrase structure rule, which emphasizes the noun phrase. So as we can see here, noun phrase consists of a determiner and a noun. So for example, we have here is the dog. As basic as that, the dog. So let us try to create a phrase structure tree out of this sentence. So there we have it. We have here the sentence, which is divided into its subconstituent, which is the noun phrase, and the noun phrase also being separated from its subconstituents, which is the determiner and the noun itself. Therefore, when in its linear order, it is read as the dog. As simple as that. So Let's have an example. You try. So let's try creating a phrase structure tree out of the sample sentence presented on the screen. So again, I'll be giving you a few seconds to pause the video and write your own phrase structure tree using based from the sentence presented on the screen. So are you ready? And now that it seems that you are now through writing your own phrase structure tree, let us try. So here we have the noun phrase, a determiner, and the noun itself. In its linear order, it is read as a cat. As simple as that. So again, it is important that we know what what word or what is the function of the word in the sentence for us to understand and for us to create a proper arrangement for well structured sentence. But sir, what if the subject is a pronoun? Will it have a pronoun phrase? Or should it be separated from noun phrase? The answer is no. Because pronouns will still be a part of the noun phrase. So for example, here we have the sentence in which it will be divided into its subconstituents. We have the noun phrase and the verb phrase. If the subject is pronoun, it is still a part of the noun phrase, but however, we should write it as pro or pro, which means a pronoun. Here is the word pronoun, they. So another example is all the other famous singers of today. So basically, as from what we can observe on the sentence, there is a multiple determiners present in the sentence. So here we have the sentence, which will be divided into its subconstituents. We have the determiner 1, 2, and 3. And the determiner is followed by an adjective phrase, which is the word famous, which is followed by a noun, the noun itself, which is the singers, in which it is followed by a prepositional phrase and an adverb phrase. If you're kind of wondering, what is this? So this represents the noun in which it is in plural form. Basically, this PL represents the form of the noun, which is it is written in plural form. So if the sentence has one or more determiners, just include it in the phrase structure tree and be careful to follow the rules that we've discussed earlier. And now let us proceed to the third phrase structure rule, which emphasizes the prepositional phrase. So for the for example, we have here is the word of the universe. So as we can see here, preposition is followed by a noun phrase. So for example, here is the prepositional phrase. The preposition, which is followed by a noun phrase, in which it will be divided to its subconstituents. the determiner, and the noun itself. So reading it in its linear form, we have of the universe. As simple as that. So let us try. So again, I'll be giving you a few minutes to pause your video and to create your own phrase structure tree. So just try to apply everything that we've discussed, specifically on this phrase structure rule, and let us see if what you did was wrong or what you did was correct one. And now that it seems that you are now through writing your phrase structure tree, here we have the prepositional phrase in which it is divided into its subconstituent, the preposition itself, a noun phrase in which it will be divided again to its subconstituent, which is the determiner, and the valley, which is the noun. So reading it in its linear order, we have down the valley. So for the next phrase structure rule that we have, so this specific phrase structure rule emphasizes the adjective phrase. So mind you that things from this point will be will get a little bit complex, but let's just focus and try to understand. So what we have here, the sentence is the iridescent flame. So let us try to create a phrase structure tree out of the sentence. So we have the noun phrase 1, in which it will be divided into its subconstituents. We have the determiner and an adjective phrase in which it is the word iridescent, and the adjective modifies the noun phrase, the second noun phrase, which is the word the flame. So did you get it? So for another example, let's try to create a phrase structure tree out of the sentence presented on the screen. So again, I'll be giving you a second or time to pause the video and write your own phrase structure tree. And now that it seems that we are now done answering or creating our own phrase structure tree, let us try. So there we have the noun phrase, in which of course it will be divided into its subconstituents. We have the determiner, followed by an adjective phrase, in which it will be divided into its subconstituents, the adjective, expensive, and the second noun phrase, in which it is the word the bag. So reading it in its linear order, it is read as the expensive bag. But sir, what if there are one or more adjective present in the sentence? So same rule, in which we have to label each constituents on what is their function, and as well as where do they belong. So we have here the noun phrase number 1, in which it will be divided into its new subconstituents. We have the determiner, followed by an adjective phrase, in which it is an adverb, the adverb very, followed by another adverb, which is brightly, And then there we have the adjective itself, which is the iridescent. And another noun phrase, the second noun phrase of the sentence, which is flame. And of course, followed by a prepositional phrase. And the third noun phrase, which is the Olympus. So, right, so reading it in its linear order, it would be the very brightly iridescent flame of Olympus. Mind you that you should be able to know what specific function does that word function in a sentence, so that you'll be able to label it correctly and to arrange the words properly. And here we have the last basic phrase structure rules that we're going to discuss for today, and it would emphasize the verb phrase. Mind you that the verb phrase is one of the most complex phrase structure rule that we have in phrase structure rules. So bear with me as we will be discussing it, and please try to understand. And a tip, so if you have a clean sheet of paper beside you, you can write down your notes so that you'll be able to review what we have discussed. So we have here the sample sentence. The lion chases the deer. So let us try to create a phrase structure tree out of this sentence. So there we have it. We have the sentence in which it will be divided into its subconstituents. We have noun phrase 1 and verb phrase. Let's start first by the noun phrase. So there we have the determiner and the noun, which is the dog. Reading it in its linear order, it would be the dog. While in the verb phrase, we have here is an AUX or an ox and a T, which means the tense, and PR, in which it means present. So these constituents is pertaining to the verb itself, which is the chase. And it is followed by our second noun phrase, in which it is the word the deer. So we have here the determiner and the noun itself. Is it clear? So I hope you're getting what I am discussing for today's video. And let me just remind you that if you have any questions or queries, you can type it down in the comment section down below, and I'll be able and be happy to answer all of them. So what we have here is a complex, or rather a compound sentence in which it has two different independent clause, and it is connected by an conjunction. So let us try to create a phrase structure tree out of the sentence presented on the screen. So there we have the sentence, in which it will be divided into its subconstituents, in which we have the independent clause 1 and the independent clause 2. So independent clause 1 is divided into its subconstituents. We have the noun phrase and the verb phrase. And since that in the sentence it is using a pronoun, so we'll be writing here a pronoun and the word itself, which is I. So we have here is the word cop, in which it means copula. And another noun phrase, which is the word John. Reading it in its linear order, it would be I am John. Now, since the independent clause number 1 is done, let us proceed to the second independent clause. But however, it is connected by a conjunction in which it is a coordinating conjunction, which is the word and. So this word connects the first independent clause to our second independent clause. And the second independent clause, which is divided into its subconstituents, we have the noun phrase and the verb phrase. Under the noun phrase is another pronoun. So again, we'll be labeling it as a pro, which means pronoun. And then in the verb phrase, in which we have the word will, followed by the verb itself, a be verb, which is be, followed by another noun phrase, the determiner the noun itself, which is the host, and an adverb phrase, which is tonight. So that's it. So that is how you create a phrase structure tree out of a sentence. So let us try to create our very own phrase structure tree. So again, you can pause the video if you want so that you'll be able to answer your or you'll be able to create your own phrase structure tree out of the sentence presented on the screen. So your timer starts now. And now that I hope that you are now done creating your own phrase structure tree, so let us begin. So we have the word S, which means the sentence, in which again it will be divided into its different subconstituents. We have the noun phrase 1 and the verb phrase. In the noun phrase 1, we have the determiner the and the noun itself, which is the chef. However, under the verb phrase, we have the verb cook, in which the T means the tense, in which it means present. The verb is in present form. So next to the verb, it is followed by another noun phrase, in which it is divided into its subconstituents the and the noun itself. So there you have it. I hope that you've got all correct answers in writing the phrase structure tree. So, do you have any question? You can comment down below and I'll be glad to answer all of them. So, for us to assess what you have learned for today's video, so I'll be handing out a short assessment quiz so that I will be able to ensure that you've learned something from me today. So the link is in the description box down below, and I hope you answer an honest. So that would be all. Thanks for watching, guys. Also, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so that you'll be able to see the newest videos that we have from the channel. And that's it. Goodbye, guys. This is Sir Mark signing off.